Are you ready to get this show started? Please welcome your roast master for the evening, Michael Scott.
Michael Scott, former regional manager of the Dunder Mifflin Strand branch, and this is the roast of The Office, guys. What is a roast, you know? The dictionary defines a roast as a place where birds regularly settle or congregate to rest at night. Well, it's nighttime, and the birds of Dunder Mifflin are ready to congregate for the rest of the night. But first, I would be remiss if I haven't talked to you guys in a while. I would be remiss I've been paying tribute to all the comedic heroes I had that we've lost since the last time I talked to you. Bill Cosby, Louis C.K., Jeremy Piven, and R. Kelly from Space Jam. They are gone but not forgotten, guys. They're huge influences and always will be. And before I bring up my old co-workers from Dunder Mifflin that are here, I'd like to give you guys updates on the ones who couldn't make it tonight. So you guys want to find out what they're up to? Yeah. Stanley, you guys remember Stanley Hudson, right? He lost a foot to diabetes. Or to a vengeful wife. I've heard either or. Meredith Palmer, you guys remember Meredith? She's currently filming an episode of HBO Real Sex. Or at least that's what the biker gang she's dating told her. Ryan Howard has been captured by ISIS. Or because why else would he not be returning my calls? Creed Bratton, still alive. But sadly, Oscar Martinez is no longer with us. He has succumbed to HIV. I'm sorry, no, I read that wrong. He has surrendered to INS, I'm sorry. And Toby Flenderson, exactly. He's serving a life sentence in prison for being the robot rapist we all thought he was. With that said, guys, you guys ready to meet the staff that is here from Dunder Mifflin? You guys ready to meet the staff of Dunder Mifflin? Introducing first, Jim Halpert. And please welcome his better half, Pam Beasley Halpert. For your next Dunder Mifflinite, Kelly Kapoor. And again, one more time for Aaron Hammond. Or don't, either way, guys. You guys know how that works. Keep it going now for the Nard Dog, Andy Bernard. Now for Mother Goose of Scranton, Phyllis Vance. And make some noise for the very pious Angela Martin. And guys, please make room for Kevin Malone. And now, Jan Levinson. And finally, guys, rounding out the cast, the White Troop. That is the cast you'll be seeing tonight, guys. That is the staff of Dunder Mifflin. I think of all of them like family, and I would like to start with talking about the grandmother of the group, Phyllis Vance. Phyllis is here. Phyllis is now retired from Dunder Mifflin. I heard she's doing some commercial acting now. I can't tell you what commercial she's in, but the catchphrase is "Eat more chicken." We also got Andy Bernard, like I mentioned. Andy Bernard is here, the Nard Dog, a.k.a. the Boner Champ, a.k.a. the Office Cuck. Andy, if you were any gayer, you'd be Oscar. And if you're any more of a dork, you'd be Dwight. And then there's Erin. Erin. I can't say a mean thing about Erin. I'm not going to do one roast joke about Erin because she's so simple. She's a simple gal who enjoys a simple life. Dare I say she's a simpleton. And I mean that in the best way possible. Plain and simple. Kevin Malone stumbled up here. I'm glad he made it. Kevin worked in accounting, if you guys forgot. Kevin worked in accounting, which is good. I'm glad he only dealt with numbers because he struggled with letters. The only letters he seemed to know were M&M's and BBQ. A fellow accountant was Angela Martin. Angela, you know, we all gave Meredith a hard time for her promiscuous ways, but it turns out Angela was really the office slut. She was with Dwight, then Andy, threw herself at Charles, and then ended up with Dwight again. She's been with more men than her Me Too hashtag comes with an exclamation point. Sink in. It'll be a long, hard night. Karen Filippelli's here, because we needed something duller than the paper we sell. No, she had straight A's in high school, but they were both on her chest. Very smart woman, very smart. Dwight Schrute is here. Dwight, is that your face or an inoperable tumor? Dwight tries to be funny but fails miserably. If he was any funnier, he'd be cancer. I was told this that after I left the office and I moved to Denver that Dwight once shot a gun in the office. Dwight, next time you do that, do us all a favor and aim for Toby. Jan is here. I can't believe Jan made it. From her busy business of selling candles to nobody. You know, Jan notoriously slept with her young, good-looking assistant Hunter. And guess what? People thought I didn't know that. I knew all about that. The problem was, I could have done the same thing if I had a good-looking young assistant. I would have even settled for a good-looking young receptionist. It just was not in the cards. Kelly Kapoor is here. Kelly's a very special person in our office. She was in customer service and is Indian. And yet she lived in Scranton. Keep outsourcing local, that's what I always say. And of course, who could forget Jim and Pam? Jim and Pam are here. Their love was so true and pure that it didn't matter what lives it ruined. Roy's, Karen's, all of you after season 5. Pam is actually roasting for 2 right now. Pam's pregnant. A pregnant Pam is my favorite Pam. It's the only time she has bigger tits than Kevin. And hey Jim, do you do that trademark smirk in bed? It's gotta be like having sex with an emoji. The Emoji Movie must be Pam's 50 Shades of Grey. Guys, you guys ready to kick this off? I think you guys are ready. I want to bring up your first roaster, guys. Your first roaster is fantastic. You know, he was the assistant to the regional manager. He's also the biggest pain to my ass. The White Schrute.
Let's get this over with. Aaron Hannon is here. Aaron Hannon, or as I heard Andy Bernard refer to, or the privacy of his own of the laboratory. Aaron hand job. How ridiculous is hand job? Imagine her doing a job with her hands. She is so weak and fragile. Aaron, you are weak. Aaron, you would be more useless as a farmhand than mows after a cup of ox milk. Pam's here. Pam's hair is dry. Pam's hair is so dry and so coarse it's like barbed wire. Pam's hair is drier than the hair on the dolls that Mose plays with at night. I would hesitate to feed Pam's hair to a goat for fear that it would strangulate his esophagus. Kelly Kapoor is here. Thank you so much, Kelly, for joining us. Kelly Kapoor, you're looking thin. If I can make a recommendation, a lot more vitamin K and nutrient-rich foods, and a lot less eating 17 magazine crumbles. Phyllis Vance is here. Phyllis, how is it that your husband's job is in selling machines that were designed to preserve meat, and yet you smell like rotting venison? Kevin is here. Kevin has a crippling addiction to pornography. Sad. I've never had any trouble getting aroused. If I ever wanted to make my members stand to attention, I would just think of Angela's firm, small breasts pressed against the nape of my neck. Oh, I would be harder than Meredith's Road to Recovery. Angela, my sweet muffin. Angela, I fell in love with her instantly as she reminded me of one of Schrute Farm's beets. Small, universally hated, but surprisingly sweet once you take a bite. Cunnilingus. Jim, you swarmy fuck. You smarmy son of a... Have you ever been... Has anyone ever been condescending? Has anyone ever been condescended to their face? It hurts. It hurts their feelings when you make your little faces. You think I don't know what's going on. You look at the camera. You think you act as if your actions aren't why we're in the position we are now with my president. Oh. Dwight would have been MAGA. Okay. Andy, you weak man. Is that you under there? Andy, I loved your cameo in that Mumford & Sons music video. Michael Scott is here. Michael, you always insisted that I referred to myself as assistant to the regional manager, as opposed to assistant regional manager. Prepositions and articles were so important to you. Here's a preposition for an article. 10 reasons why Michael Scott fucking sucks. You're right, a bit of a stretch on that one. Thank you so much.
The what? You ignorant slut. Alright guys, we're your next roaster. She is duller than a Toby Flenderson sex tape. Make some noise for Karen Affiliate.
Got you, bitch. Alright, call me Karen Rippapelli because I'm going to shred these turds. Andy Bernard. Andy is the coworker I have known the longest and the one I try to spend the shortest amount of time with. One of Andy's nicknames in college was Boner Champ because he always took them like one. You know, Andy really is a kid at heart because remember that time that he dated a high schooler? You know, after that, none of us should have been surprised when he hooked up with Angela because he thought he had found the child bride of his dreams. Speaking of which, Dwight, you and Angela are such different sizes that I just always assumed you had a really tiny dick. But then I remembered what a huge cunt Angela is. And I realized there's plenty of room for you in there, Mr. Bears Beats Off to Battlestar Galactica. You're fucking weird, Dwight! And I bet you worked tech in high school. Angela, I bet when Dwight goes down on you, he has to pull pubes and cat hair out of his teeth. Because you once told me you would never shave one of your cats, so I know you don't shave your pussy. Angela, if you had been alive in the 1940s, you would have been head of the Nazi Party Planning Committee. She's so tiny and blonde, more like Aryan Ana Grande. Am I right? By the way, you must have been proud when your daughter's Women for Trump grad photo went viral. Congrats. You should ask her to borrow that gun. Kevin, I don't know much about you except that your favorite lunch is cup of noodles, your favorite candy is M&Ms, and your favorite disease is diabetes. Kevin has so much porn on his computer that he gave the entire office a virus, but hey, at least it wasn't chlamydia, right, Jen? The only time anyone's ever applauded for you was when you got the clap. Jan, I actually liked working for you because it was inspiring to see a female boss fucking her much younger assistant, just like a man would. Jan, you ran your career into the ground because that boob job is the only job you're qualified for. Phyllis, your perfume smells like a funeral home, which explains why you remind me so much of my dead aunt. You're also as fuckable as her. Michael, the first time we met, you told me I was exotic looking. And I thought you looked like a guy who couldn't tell black people apart. If you think I look exotic, then I don't want to hear what you said when you met Kelly. But if I ever do, I'm sure I could read the report from HR. Michael quit to start his own paper company, and when he asked Pam to come with him, she did, because Jim never asks her to do that. Michael, the only thing worse you could have done to the Scott's Tots kids than lie about paying for their college is turn out to be their biological fathers. Kelly Kapoor, more like Kelly Kapoor Judgment. You got cheated on so much. I don't know why people were shocked when Ryan got fired, because when he was dating you, he did a lot of inside her trading. Aaron, we never worked together, but chances are I would not have liked you. Because the last time I tried to befriend a receptionist, she fucked my boyfriend. Which reminds me, when you replaced Pam, did they tell you you had to sleep with Jen? Because Pam seems to think that was part of the job. And brings us to Pam. Pam, what a Beasley. You're a bitch, Pam. You're a real bitch. And I'm sorry, Billy, do you not realize that you can't just keep having kids and hope they add up to a personality? Pam, if you had half as much talent as an artist as the amount of time you spent talking about being an artist, you would not have failed out of art school. And honestly, you stole my boyfriend, and that was a bitch move, but I should thank you, because in hindsight, Jim is a fucking creep. Can we just all agree on that now? Your husband is the reason a whole generation of dudes thinks that persistence is the same thing as consent. Okay? He gave you a teapot full of trash he saved from times you guys hung out. And then he got mad at you for a time when you hung out after work and you didn't think that was a date. If Jim had been 5'8", you would not have married him. You would have filed a restraining order. And that takes us to Jim. You know, Jim, something in my gut tells me that you tell people you voted for Trump because you're a small business owner, but it's really because you don't like black people. Does anyone else think it's a red flag that of the many regional managers Scranton had, the only one Jim did not get along with was the black guy? By the way, where's your best friend Daryl, Jim? You said you'd invite him. All your shirts are really white, I'm just saying. Jim was terrible at Call of Duty because he didn't understand it. He was all like, Call of Duty? I've never felt the urge to work in my life. Jim Halpert always makes this face when he comes. He's kind of like, Dwight! Last but not least, when I worked in Scranton, we used to play Fuck, Marry, Kill a lot. And when I first started there, I always said that I would fuck Daryl, marry Jim, and kill Pam, obviously. But now that I think about it, I would marry Daryl, kill myself if I still worked there. And fuck you, Jim. All right, Phil Billy out.
Who is next? Oh, Lord, it's someone else who got dumped from someone at the office. Guys, your next roaster was my old boss and my old lover. But I kept her around much longer than I should have for two big reasons. But you know what? We'll figure that out, guys. Give it up for Jan Levinson.
I'm Jan, I'm the fuckable one that's left here. I do have to say, in this new Me Too movement, I am so glad that Michael and my former assistant have not publicly called me out. We've got Andy Bernard here. Hi, Andy. You know, I think Andy may be the least likable person. No one wanted to see him end up with Aaron or Angela. He's pretty much Ari the Bachelor. Fuck Ari. You know, thinking about Andy having sex with Angela is a lot grosser than thinking about Dwight and Angela having sex, because we know at least Dwight has never cried during sex. Just after. Angela, you've lived through a lot, you've gone through a lot, and you have lived through my worst fear. Marrying a man that would cheat on me with the Taco Bell dog. Dwight, I'm so glad to see that you have had success on TV outside of our show. You were fabulous on Netflix's Making a Murderer. This is my new scent, Botox. As y'all can tell, Stanley is not here tonight. We miss him very much. He's not here because he's celebrating Pretzel Day in heaven. Type 2 diabetes are no joke. Speaking of lumps of mashed potatoes, Phyllis is here. As y'all know, Phyllis is in a loving relationship with Bob Vance of Vance Refrigeration. You know, I do think Phyllis probably gets the most dick out of anybody in the office, except for Andy when he goes to a cappella reunions at Cornell. Speaking of diabetes, Kevin's here. Kevin, I love that you keep a giant jar of M&Ms on your desk. I love looking at it when I come to the office, because it makes me think, every drop of chocolate is just 1 second closer to you being closer to death. Kevin, that pot of chili you dumped on the floor, it makes me think that's probably what your insides look like. Ann Perkins is here. Karen. Sorry, I confused her for another woman who props up basic-ass white men. Erin's here, Erin Cannon. You know, Erin, you look like you should be in a bunker and stay there. Based on you dating Gabe, I would not be surprised if you ended up joining Scientology. Kelly Kapoor is here. Kelly, Forever 21 isn't just your wardrobe, it's who you are. Loud, cheap, and made by immigrants. Kelly, I do appreciate that you are our one person of color on stage tonight. We couldn't even get an ethnically ambiguous Karen. Pam, Michael fucked your mom. The vagina you came out of, Michael came in. Pam, if you dress like you took the clothes off of your mother's bedroom for her after Michael fucked her. Pretty much you dress like you raided a Talbot's. Jim, Pam, you have a romance people have idolized. It's the romance of the 21st century, or what I like to call the cuckolding of the 21st century. Jim, we've always had a complicated relationship. Your wife saw my ex's penis, and we're the only two fuckable people here. And finally, my ex, Michael, you love pranks. The biggest one you pulled is trying to make us think you didn't want to fuck Toby. Oh, shit! Michael taught me a lot when we were together, and he taught a lot of us in the office, a lot of different things, and the sensitivity training that he did taught me not to make fun of him for being on the autism spectrum. As y'all can tell, none of the warehouse workers are here tonight. Yeah. It's because they were all shot by Scranton PD. Thank y'all so much.
Give it up for Harvina Weinstein, everybody. I don't want to fuck Toby! Can't believe I have to mention that twice. Alright, guys. Your next roaster is as dumb as he is fat. He's like a Tweedledum, a Tweedledee. Please give it up for Kevin Malone!
Phyllis, it was great to see you at the Claremont Lounge last what your face looks like. Face skin looks like my inner thighs. You ever put tofu in pantyhose and squeezed it? Hi, Pam. You went on a shopping spree at Dick Blick and thought you were an artist, and then enrolled at Pratt. I have a lot of trust fund kids. They tell you to stop stealing their bit. Let's talk about your painting a little bit. Everybody's seen your painting of the Scranton office that hung up on the wall. It looks like if Edward Hopper shopped at Target. Like it has all the like sad ennui of that's indicative of Harper's paintings, but like none of the mental depth behind it. It's like sad. You and Jim are kind of like the prom king queen of basic bitch high school. It's just like you're like capitalist propaganda. Like just be boring as fuck, get married to a coworker, and have children. So, painted a mural of everybody at the office. I think you have a great future painting shitty murals at comedy clubs. Like, is that Robin Williams or Dr. Ruth? Angela, you've already been called a cunt tonight. I think that's incorrect. I think that's a horrible word to describe you. You lack both the warmth and the depth. The biggest crisis in your life is when somebody brought the wrong side dish to a potluck supper. Karen, you're here for some reason. You don't even have a Wikipedia entry for your character. Kelly, I want to say Indian Americans are the most prosperous immigrants in our country. They have the highest education rate and income, so what's your excuse? You work for a paper company in rural Pennsylvania. How did you get kicked out of the family hotel business? Aaron's here, and like everybody thought I was the mentally challenged one. Jan, I was going to call you Harvey Weinstein. That got taken, but that was fun, huh? I don't feel from that. Jim already called you the basic bitch prom queen. That was pretty good, I thought. You represent the highest aspirations of former college date rapists. Pam's pregnant. If it's going to be anything like your last creation, it's going to look just like M. Night Shyamalan. That was a Quiet Place reference because he just remade the fucking M. Night Shyamalan movie. See, I'm going out of the confines of the show and talking about whatever dumb basic motherfucker plays Jim. Yeah, it did really well, but it was a really small budget. Ari's the only time, really, in modern filmmaking, you can have like a small budget and get a lot of returns. So I feel like he's got, like, people have been overly excited about his future movie making career. When he, like I said, ripped off M. Night Shyamalan. You can take that out of my show fee. Michael, you look like a Trump cabinet member. I was wondering what like Michael Cohen will look like Eddie running a paper. Dwight, sometimes you see a guy and you're like, that dude looks like a cop. And sometimes you see a guy like, that dude looks like he owns 3 fedoras. And I get that you don't wear a fedora on the show, but it's implied. So it's just like you wear fedoras like jazz musicians play. It's the fedoras you don't wear. And like I'm all for minority representation in big tentpole cable sitcoms, but I guess so I have to be okay with like having a men's right advocate as a major role in the show. You are a sentient Reddit thread. Also, you work and live on a beet farm. Every bowel movement you take must look like the elevator scene from The Shining. Andy, you're a creep. Your shirt says Cornell, but the rest of you says Ithaca College. Ithaca is gorgeous. That's the shirt. Also, your entire time you were trying to get Aaron was really frightening. It was like out of the NAMBLA playbook for how to court a child. It's very... If anyone wants to read that, I've got that. Anyway, Michael, come on back up here. You're looking good, buddy. Come on.
I got nervous of eating more than one M&M. I thought he was going to chill. All right, guys, you guys ready for your next roaster? Come on, let me hear it. Well, your next roaster is so short, she needs a ladder just to get up on her high horse. Make some noise for Angela Martin!
I don't have a headache, I'm just preparing. Thank you, Michael, for having us come in on a Saturday night. We're getting paid for this, right? I know I used to be blonde, but I'm married now, and blonde is whorish. Michael, before I begin, I just want to say that I cannot take you seriously because you once asked me where paper comes from. And then when I told you, you said you didn't believe me because you've never heard of a paper tree. All right. Jim, you look like one of those guys that actually has a big penis, but you only ever got to use it the one time. Because Pam, you look like you used to practice with a banana, and they still both make you gag. Phyllis, was your honeymoon destination just anywhere with a Waffle House? Also, I know the reason you and Bob Vance haven't had kids is just because he still hasn't found it. Jan, I know you're looking for true love, but you have a better chance of your period coming back. Because you're the type of woman that'll just stick it in dry to get it over with. Because, Michael, you haven't affected the wetness of a woman's vagina since birth, and that was just placenta. Karen, you look like you're into group sex and golden showers, but not with men, with animals. Kevin, you look like you drive a white van that plays music, drives around neighborhoods, and has pictures of ice cream on the outside, but inside the freezers, there's just missing children. Also, don't smile. Ever. Andy, you look like you only online date on Craigslist. And Aaron, you look like you don't know the difference between a penis and a popsicle, but you still get them both all over your face. Kelly, you're so stupid, you probably believe guys when they tell you they're really into bondage, but they're just looking for an excuse to gag you. So just shut the fuck up. Oh, Dwight, you iron your underwear? I mean, you look like someone that would iron their underwear. I mean, you look like someone whose mom, I don't know, I like it.
One more time for Angela, everybody. Guys, just so you guys know, this is being live tweeted by President Trump right now. The show is being live tweeted by President Trump. And he did say, don't worry about the wall, Oscar will pay for it. We're cool, guys. Oscar's down. Guys, I'm ready for your next roaster. The only reason Bob Vance from Vance Refrigeration married your next roaster is because the closest you'll ever get to having sex with a refrigerator. Please make some noise for Phyllis Vance!
Michael Scott, everybody. Tonight the role of Michael Scott is being played by an actual 40-year-old virgin. No more nice Phyllis Mifflin fuckers. You thought I was sad? Bitch, my back hurts! This lineup is seriously longer than my tits. Where are Daryl and Stanley? Like, how are the only brothers on the stage Brooks and Eskimo? Jan Levinson does the best impressions. I'll never forget when she impersonated Diane Keaton from The Godfather. She was all like, I had an abortion, Michael! I hate to gossip about Jim, but Pam told me the last time he got her wet was on The Maid of the Mist. Pam is so sweet. She's like a sheet cake that wished to be a real girl. And Angela's so white and flat, she's like a sheet cake that wished to be a real bitch. It's nice she took a break from calling the cops on barbecues to be here. Of course, I can't forget Pam's replacement, Kimmy Shit. Erin is so dumb. I'm so glad she's not my daughter. Kevin is here, and even more surprising, so are both of his feet. Kevin's wearing a Fitbit. Apparently the only thing you exercise is futility. How did it not start smoking in short circuit? I can't decide if Kevin looks like a potato that only eats ham. Or a ham that only eats potatoes. Alright, I gotta go. Bob Vance is upstairs and I need that deep dick!
Phyllis Vance, keep it going! Clap as loud as your butt would. Alright, guys. Alright, guys, I'm ready for your next roaster. Your next roaster's in the sailing, the banjo, and acapella. What was your major Cornell? Not getting laid? Guys, please welcome the Nard Dog, Andy Bernard!
Nard Dog's out of the house, am I right? Dog house. What's up? Yeah, thanks to the Highland Ballroom for letting us come back. I'm sorry about that. My agent told me last night that there was going to be a panel, like a kind of meet and greet. It wasn't. It wasn't. I'm prepared today. Don't worry. This roast is wearing the Holland Halls of Cornell. Yep. Works last night too. I'm not saying that this is just like the whitest group of people ever. I'm just saying we were more often aware of what was happening on Downton Abbey than like a normal group of people. Michael's a self-made man, which is why he's got very few redeeming qualities. Michael handles business like I used to handle my stock market account on Neopets. Michael thinks that LinkedIn is a sex position. It's not. You can accept my requests. Jan and Michael's comedy have something in common. I don't know if you guys knew that. They're both tone deaf. The most memorable thing about Jan is fuckboy. Not you, Michael, not you. That's what she said. Kevin's here. Give it up for Kevin. Kevin's overweight. I don't know if anyone's talked about that yet. But we're ignoring the 65-pound elephant in the room. I blame Angela. If you could finish your lunch, maybe Kevin wouldn't have to. Kevin got into accounting for the sandwiches. Phyllis and Michael actually went to high school together, which terrifies me. Because either you took care of yourself so horribly, or Michael's a vampire. It's not looking good either way. Phyllis never really liked me, and that kind of fucking gets my board. You know? Ticks me off. Kelly's here, I think. I never really knew who Kelly was. I never listened to anything she's ever said. I'm impressed that you managed to make it here tonight, though, considering you're friends with Oprah. Thank you. Dwight's here. Dwight's actually a pretty alright guy. Oh, I'm sorry. I fucked that up. So, Dwight's actually pretty an alright guy. Did you know that if Reddit fucked a 70s CIA coup in South America, you'd end up with Dwight? Dwight makes Amish people look cool. And they don't use zippers. Fucking losers. Dwight fucked more in the office than most members of Fox News. What a cuck, right? What did you do? Angela, what a bitch. The mayonnaise came to life. Kevin would eat it. Angela was the original target audience for FarmersOnly.com. Angela really loves cats, and that's because you have no friends. None of us are your friend. She's just been around cats so long that her shit causes toxoplasmosis. I don't know how that happened. She's not a nice person. Burnt. Karen, did you guys know that Karen could talk that much? I had no idea. I sat next to her for like 2 years. Aaron, if an improv group Voltron into a homunculus, you have Aaron. Jim, what a funny guy. Remember that time you stole people's property and broke it? That was cool. Really cool. Big Tuna gave you a great nickname. Fucked me over. Love this guy. Fucking love him. Pam's pregnant. I'm really happy someone told me. If I had to describe Pam as like a character in a film, she'd be a panicked princess fairy. Yeah, that's my closer, guys. Thank you.
Andy Bernard, everybody. Andy Bernard. Can't win them all, Andy, but at some point win one, please. All right, guys, bring your next roaster. Speaking of Andy, next roaster dated Andy, then dated Gabe, then dated Andy again, and then dated some guy. What do you guys call him? Flop? If her pipe was any wider, she would just fuck snowbanks. Please make some noise for Aaron Hammond.
Hi, how is everyone? Everyone knows I like to keep peace within the office. I don't have any enemies, but tonight we're gonna get dirty. I remember when I first started at Dunder Mifflin. I was trying to rearrange the office, and I thought, what could we use? A doormat. And then I thought, we already have Kevin. Kevin, we all know why you showed up here tonight. You heard the word roast, and you thought there was going to be food here. Stupid. punch the wall with your hand? Well, I'm really glad that you used your hand and not your leg. You would have had a limp. But then again, you're always used to being limp. So dirty. Now, we understand your frustration. Working at Dunder Mifflin can be hard, but your penis never is. Andy, your penis is just like one of Michael's meetings. Long, but useless. Shut up. Andy, your singing voice and Angela's chest have something in common. They're both flat. Angela, your boobs are like shroot bugs. Nobody cares about them. As we know, Angela is a vegetarian. And I think that's why she's so grouchy and hostile. Because of the lack of meat she puts in her mouth. You will never find balls in her mouth. Unless, of course, it's hair balls. Because we know how much Angela loves pussy. Michael, Dunder Mifflin was a joke with you. You really never are on top of things, and you never finish what you started. That's what she said. If bosses were flowers, I'd pick you, and then smash you into a book about how not to be a boss. I am on fire. Jim and Pam, congratulations on the baby. Good luck raising 2 kids, Pam. Make sure you prepare before the baby comes. I hear you're supposed to get lots of diapers. And that reminds me, Pam is just like a diaper. Rides your ass and usually full of shit. Jim, it was so romantic when you proposed to Pam at the gas station. Said no one ever. Isn't it funny how a lot of bathrooms at the gas station are never working? They're a lot like Jim. Jim, when you realized you wanted Pam instead of Karen, it was messed up. I mean, I just don't get it. I'm sorry, I just don't get it. It's like you bought a cool pair of Nikes and then you wanted to return them for a pair of Dr. Scholl's. Pam is a lot like Dr. Scholl's. Boring, but moms loved him. Remember when the office staff took on the workers in the warehouse to a game of basketball? People started yelling, "Rebound!" And we all started looking around for Karen. She's a rebound. Sorry, Karen. It looks like the only time you're going to get banged is when you go to get a haircut. Mine went better. Jan, it's nice to see you. How did you get here tonight? Riding on a penis? We are never, ever, ever getting back together. That's what Jan's legs sing to each other. Dwight was dropped on his head as a baby. False! Dwight was thrown up against the wall repeatedly as a baby. Stupid. Dwight looks like a man who drives past Chuck E. Cheese on the weekend in a white van with candy in his pants. What a creep. Why did Dwight cross the road to get to the playground? Kelly, you bring a lot of fun to the office. You really do. I wish when I was younger that we would have known one another so that you could have come over for sleepovers. We would have talked about boys and all the latest celebrity gossip, and then I would have suggested a pillow fight, which would involve me suffocating you with my pillow, because you never know when to shut your mouth. that sorry. I used to think that roosters were only up in the morning time, but Bob Vance's cock probably stays up all night with Phyllis being his wife. It's very apparent that when it comes to Bob Vance and Phyllis, the only thing that's ever running are Bob Vance's refrigerators. Thank you.
One more time for Aaron, everybody. What was the name of that book you said you would smash me into? My question was who's going to read it to you anyway. Okay. Moving on, guys. If Ryan Howard treated your next roaster any more like dirt, the wife would try to plant beets into her. Make some noise for Kelly Kapoor!
Hi guys. I think it's great that I got to see my friend Erin go up before me. I actually heard you were a foster kid. That explains a lot. A lot. I want to introduce you guys to myself as your new minority executive. That's the only reason I'm here. I think they're taking a picture for a brochure later. I actually came here because I thought Ryan was going to be there. And I'm going to go ahead and school or sue Michael for $20. How much are you worth now? I'd firstly like to congratulate Pam and Jim on being the first lesbian couple at Dunder Mifflin. And I'd like to congratulate you on the pregnancy, Kevin. And neither Daryl or Ryan were able to make it here today. And I later found out they were busy, but it could also be because of the restraining order, but we're not going to talk about that. Jan, you look great. It's like you're a gossip girl or something. But you know, just the women in the office that didn't wear the nice clothes. Okay, it's fine. Andy, man. You're not okay, dude. You're not okay. What's going on? Andy and Angela dated. Sorry, Aaron. Andy and Angela dated and then got married. That was almost got married. That was pretty cool. It seemed like they would be the ideal couple to get divorced. But the cake would have been nice. And angel food cake. The driest, tasteless food cake of all time. I don't know, Dwight is here. Yeah, he once made a complaint about me to the office, alleging that I had heated up tuna masala in the kitchen. And it actually turned out to be Phyllis's perfume, so it's not always my fault. And you talk about being in Cornell a lot, which is pretty cool. I think he just talks about it subconsciously because that's where he got laid the most. That's why I talk about the coffee supply room so much at Dunder Mifflin. Michael, remember that time I got to slap you in the face? Yeah, I relive that every single night. And it's fantastic. It helps me go off to sleep, man. It was actually pretty shocking. I haven't seen someone with that red of a face since I took Daryl home to meet my parents. Yeah, it was pretty weird. Guys, so I'm Kelly Kapoor. I feel a a little bit weird being the only white person at this roast, especially because Daryl isn't here. And I'm really wondering, is this the most elaborate ice raid of all time? 'Cause I've never had to prepare material before. It's fine. I could always just, move back in with Charles. Oh, I hit it. I'm telling you, you can't prove otherwise. I hit it. Good night, everybody.
Kelly Kapoor, everybody. Kelly Kapoor. Guys, we got a special guest. I don't know if you guys were able to know this, but this guy was on the original British version of The Office. He's here all the way from the UK, which I believe is in London. Please make some noise for David Brent.
Hello, everybody. It's me, Ricky Gervais. David Brent. Funny Michael Scott. Who's seen the UK version of The Office? 7 people. As far as everyone else knows, my impression is immaculate. I think I just became a leprechaun. All right. Dwight Schrute. Dwight Schrute, you look like a bloody wanker. And by that I mean you look like you wank it so much it bleeds. Roasted. To be honest, I was disappointed you weren't Asian. Semi-roasted. Jen Levinson. Jen's Jewish, so I don't have any jokes about her. I learned the hard way. Not roasted. Kevin Malone. I loved your impression of the Kool-Aid Man. More like Kevin gonna die alone. Roasted. Angela Martin. I didn't know you could fuck your way down the corporate ladder. Phyllis, she's married! Andy Bernard. I call him Bernard the Tard. Because he's never late. That's a British humor joke. Aaron, I heard you were adopted. I wish you could adopt a personality. Okay, that one was not that good. Kelly Kapoor. Kelly Kapoor is Indian. In India, they have a caste system. What I didn't know is your name was based off of what caste system you're in. She's poor, okay. Not so roasted on that one. Pam and Jim, congratulations. I don't know if they're actually having a baby or Pam's just stealing office supplies. Thank you. By the way, I'd like to just apologize for being late tonight. I was attending the royal wedding. By that, I mean I ate at Burger King. And now I have diarrhea. I'm David Brent. Thank you all.
David Brent, everybody. There's something about that guy I just love. All right, guys, we are down the home stretch. You guys still with us? We got 2 more roasters to go. Your next roaster was so bad at art school she should have started doing comedy. Please make some noise for Pam Beasley.
I am 8 months pregnant. Weird reaction. Kevin. The only thing higher than Kevin's hairline is his risk of heart disease. Pause for laughs. Kelly is here tonight. Because it's important to brand yourself, Kelly has decided to call herself the business bitch, the diet bitch, the shopping bitch, and the etiquette bitch. I came up with another one, and it's the bitch that won't stop talking. Seriously, you work in the annex and somehow I can still hear you from reception. Shut the fuck up. Shut up. Dwight is here. Dwight, you seem like you masturbate a lot, like way too much, like an unhealthy amount. You always say you're going to your beet farm, more like the beat your meat farm, am I right? You look like you exclusively jerk off to Battlestar Galactica fan fiction that you wrote. Karen, when I look at you, I'm filled with a sense of burning rage. Not because you hooked up with Jim before I did, it's because of your bangs. Phyllis gave a child up for adoption when she was younger, and thank God for that. The only thing that I can imagine is worse than your potential skill as a mother is that CVS brand perfume that you wear. Seriously, you smell like potpourri flavored beefaroni. And you'd be a bad mom. Angela's here. Angela slept with both Dwight and Andy. What's next, Angela? Fucking a jar of mayonnaise? Speaking of Andy, having sex with you would be like the new Solo Star Wars movie. Forgettable. Andy, having sex with you would be like Michael Jackson's 7th studio album released in 1987. Bad. Andy, having sex with you would be like the reboot of Roseanne. You may think it's okay at first, but then it ends suddenly and horrifically. Erin's here tonight. Erin was born 4 months premature. She could not eat solid food until the age of 6. She has epilepsy and scoliosis. This is all true. Erin, how could I possibly roast you when God already did the job? The only thing sadder than Erin's medical history is the fact that Michael thinks that we're actually friends. He's sexually harassed me, so.
You too.
Jan is here. Jan started a candle company called Serenity by Jan. So I came up with some candle scents I thought you might like. Plastic surgery recovery room. Bottled sperm. Axe body spray worn by a 21-year-old office assistant named Hunter. That one's very specific. Jim, my husband, is here. Getting with Jim really helped me fulfill a lifelong fantasy. I've always wanted to have sex with sexy Gumby. Michael, you've taken improv classes and fancy yourself a comedian, and I'm starting to see it. I mean, I saw your penis in your office without wanting to. You actually remind me a lot of Louis C.K. Don't take that as a compliment, because I know you will. Your penis is weird.
Pamela Beasley, everybody. All right, guys, we're your next roaster. Remember your next roaster. He's like a son to me, and he married Pam Beasley, who's like a daughter to me. once pushed me in a koi pond, and I pushed him into be the shittiest employee alive. Guys, please welcome Jim Halpern.
Let's go ahead and address the elephant in the room, not Kevin. Karen and I dated. We learned a lot about each other. She learned some stuff about me, and I learned that Filippelli is Italian for no personality. Kevin Malone is here. You know, Kevin is in a cover band of The Police, and the only thing that could cover Kevin is an industrial-sized tarp. My old frenemy, Dwight K. Schrute, is here. Dwight, it seems like the two things that you care most about are damage to company property and health code violations. So it was pretty stunning when I learned that you fucked literally everywhere in the office. What does it say in the employee manual about making the printer sticky, Dwight? I guess it's a no. Erin Hannon is here. Erin dated Andy, Gabe, and a guy named Plot. She also loves Michael's jokes. I think the only thing with a worse taste than Erin would be Angela's mouth after giving Dwight a blowjob. Speaking of Angela, a lot of guys in the office were really into Angela, but I never really got it. Because to me, it always seemed like her vagina would be filled with teeth. Andy Bernard is here. Andy, you look a lot different. When we worked together, Andy looked like an alt-right thumb. And now, Andy looks like he's the guy that you're stuck with talking to at a party who won't shut up about DMT. Yeah, dude, I'll go to a different dimension if the Nard dog isn't there. Phyllis Vance is here. I love Phyllis. We actually didn't hang out a lot at the office. I don't know that much about Phyllis, but I do know one fact about her, which is that she is a Lutheran. And if you're like me, you're like, what is a Lutheran? So I looked it up and did some research, and just to keep you guys informed, I came up with how to know if you might be a Lutheran. If your idea of a sexy man is a guy named Bob that sells refrigerators, you might be a Lutheran. If the most important thing in your life is a party planning committee at your sales job, you might be a Lutheran. If you study the third largest Protestant movement behind Anglicanism and Pentecostalism, you might be a Lutheran. Jan, no amount of plastic surgery can fix your busted-ass personality. Kelly's here. It's good to see Kelly. Kelly, your on-again, off-again relationship with Ryan was such a disaster. The last time I saw a disaster like that, Bush invaded Iraq after. Pam told me not to do that joke. She's always for me. At one point, Michael Scott quit Dunder Mifflin. It was a weird time in all of our lives. He started Michael Scott Paper Company, and the only thing that was a bigger failure than the Michael Scott Paper Company is any relationship he's had with any woman, and also the Challenger shuttle explosion. Pam told me not to do a Challenger joke right after 9/11. And Jim and I do what I want. Speaking of Pam, Beasley. You guys can call her Beasley. It's Halpert. It's Pam Halpert. Pam and I have a baby on the way, but we already have a baby together. I let Pam name her, and she named her Cece. And I didn't know when I said that she could name our daughter that she would do it after a pizza buffet. But I'm very excited to meet our next daughter, Little Caesar's Halpert. Thanks, guys.
for you guys. If you want to hang out and take pictures, we're willing to do that. The bar's still open, guys. Have a great night. Enjoy the station. Thank you so much.
My name is Joe Pettis, and tonight I played David Brent from the UK version of The Office. It was a character no one else picked. Like the main characters from this one would be pretty much chosen, and I wanted to show up as a surprise, but like, you know, be something a little different, something they didn't expect. We've been doing roasts for the last 3 or 4 years. I've lost count, but we've been doing various roasts. Like we've done like Stranger Things and Game of Thrones, and we all kind of just pull together to decide what show we're going to do. So it's kind of like a democratic process, and everyone wanted to do The Office, which honestly I had no idea how popular the show was until we started doing this, and then just realizing how many people binge watch the show over and over again. So basically we just wanted to do something that seemed like fun and would pull a crowd in. So
had you been practicing your accent?
Not as much as I probably should have. Not as much as I should have.
Why do you think the roast kind of really appeals to people? Not the roast, but the Office, I'm sorry.
To be honest, I have no idea. Like I think it's an enjoyable show, but I think people enjoy it because I think it's easy. It's something you can just watch over and over and over again, or just put on the background while you're doing other things. So I think people, for whatever reason, just attach themselves to it. I'm mind blown, to be honest, with how popular the show is.
So what do they do in The Office that you think is kind of unique from a comedic perspective?
I like how, having watched a lot of these episodes recently, I like how every episode starts a little differently. Like there's a story arc and like a kind of a plot line, but it's all just kind of just random stuff, and I like that aspect.
I'm Sam Gordon, and I played Karen Filippelli. I would say I've spent at least 10, maybe 12 years preparing for this. When I first moved to Atlanta from Chicago, I actually lived across the street from the venue we did this at, and the first 5 months I lived here, I had no job, no friends, or internet, but I did have the first 5 seasons of The Office. So I spent a lot of time with this show. This was very exciting to do. Well, the challenging part with Karen is that they really didn't give her a lot of development as a character. The great thing about The Office is all of the characters are such well-developed comedic characters. So they have specific tics, specific interests. Karen, they kind of just made her a romantic interest. She was a placeholder till Pam and Jim were ready to date. So I had to really kind of figure out what I thought Karen would respond with to this kind of environment. But it was easy because she's a woman scorned, so what's easier than making fun of a straight white guy, right? I've had like 6 weeks to prepare. I definitely waited to the last 2, but I definitely worked really hard. I spent 2 weeks with an outline describing all the details of every character I knew, and I did a lot of editing. It helped a lot to have 2 nights of this show because I got to learn what worked, but it did take a lot of work. It's a very funny show. It's hard to be funnier on top of one of the funniest shows that's ever been written. If I could have been anybody, I'm going to be honest, I would have loved to have been Andy Bernard because he's such a ridiculous person and there's so many fun catchphrases for him. It would have been really fun to get to come out and do some a cappella. It would have been cool. I also would have loved to have been Meredith because she is an aggressive character and I think that she could say anything and it would have passed. But I'm glad I got to do a calm character because it made my jokes funnier. So.
My name is William Childress, and I'm playing Kevin in The Office. He talks in a very specific way. He kind of talks like this and squints his eyes, and so it's difficult to do like a whole 6-minute roast set talking like this a little bit. It kind of gets at your throat, but yeah. This is the second night we did the show, so not only was there probably like a week or so of doing some notes and then thinking about jokes for the first night, then you see everybody else's jokes and you kind of recalibrate a little bit on the second night without stepping on their material. But I think everybody came a lot harder. Like the second night, they worked on it a lot more. So you got to have one night to kind of get it out there, and then another night where you kind of edit it and make it a little tighter. Yeah. Well, because so many people work in the office, and you have to kind of find your own diversions and your own fun in the office, because it can be kind of a sad place sometimes, depending on where you work. And also, these characters represent archetypes, like, the certain people that everybody has in their office. Everybody's got a Michael or a Phyllis or something like that. So.